In a Newfoundland personal injury claim from a car accident or other type of event, past wage loss is common, especially if personal injuries are severe or ongoing. A past wage loss will occur if an injury victim can't work, or maybe they can't work as much or as long. Maybe they'll lose out on a promotion or commissions. You have to think about these things when you're going about a personal injury claim, because if you don't consider them, you won't be fairly compensated. You won't get the money you're supposed to get. At the end of the day, you only have one personal injury claim per incident. So it's important that all components of an injury claim are considered before you start negotiating. So let's get into it. One of the baskets is a past wage loss claim. And so most people realize that there's a pain and suffering element to a personal injury claim. That's one item. Past wage loss is another item. We call it past wage loss, PWL. This will be another basket. Future wage loss will be another basket. So think about what you did prior to the accident. Were you somebody who worked 9 to 5? Did you work seasonal? How was your compensation? And how was it affected by the accident? Did you have a full wage loss? Were you able to work only reduced duties? How was your employment affected? You need to give this information to your personal injury lawyer. Now, the common way to do this would be to give your pay stubs or pay records to your lawyer. If we're looking at a year-over-year loss, we can look at your tax returns before the accident and the years prior and how that's been affected in years going forward. But often what we can also do is write to the employer and say, provide us with a copy of pay stubs or employment records. Ultimately, as a personal injury lawyer, I need to appreciate what my client earned, and documents are the way to do that. We need to assess the full extent of a past wage loss. And to do that, we need to understand when the person can go back to work. So often it's premature to negotiate a personal injury claim before we have a full understanding as to whether the client has gone back to work. And if they can go back to work, how much are they working? Are they going back full time? Are they earning everything they would before the accident? Or have they returned doing something less? We need to measure this appropriately, because once you settle your injury claim, you can't open it again. Once you've signed the release, the insurance company is done with you, you can't relitigate or recommence a claim because you forgot or overappreciated your level of recovery. So when we think about a claim here, we're going to measure the pain and suffering component of a claim. This is all about your injuries and the extent of loss and damage, the effect on your life, the drop of function that you've had. The second component is going to be this past wage loss component. So when we appreciate what's happened in the past, we then need to think about what economic loss you might have in the future. We'll use the information from your past loss to project about the potential of the future earnings loss. Some people call this a diminished earning capacity. I explain to many of my clients, and it doesn't matter if you're a cook or a lawyer or a doctor, an engineer, a mechanic, working on an assembly line, working in a fish factory, it doesn't matter. Whatever you do, you have a capacity to work. And if it's been impacted, lessened, reduced because of an accident. So let's talk about a shoulder as an example. Say you were driving in your car and you're in a car accident in Newfoundland. All of a sudden, you go and get treatment on your arm and you have a reduced range of motion. You can't have the same level of function left to right anymore. And it impacts what you do at work. You don't have the same ability to lift and carry or chop the vegetables or what have you. You, compared to you before the accident or to another employee doing the same job as you, you're less effective, you're less efficient. Put side by side, you won't be as effective. This is a diminished capacity. You're less able to do your work, you're less efficient, you're less effective, and it may well be that you earn less money in the future, that you don't get a promotion, that you don't get overtime, and ultimately that you earn less money. This is an important part of a personal injury claim. So what I want to see from my clients is an impact to their earnings in the past, and I can help make an argument using that data and information about what their future loss will be, what their diminished earning capacity is likely to be. It is critical that you consider past economic losses and future economic losses as part of any injury claim. To forget about economic loss potential will mean that your claim isn't being fairly negotiated because you haven't remembered all of the potential losses that you can claim. You can't open this claim again in the future, so it's critical that you do a clear assessment of what all of your losses and damages are before you start negotiating. If you have any questions about how to calculate a past wage loss claim, how to consider this loss, and how to project that loss into the future before you start negotiating, you should ask my office all the questions that you have and we'll give you answers. Nova Injury Law represents car accident and personal injury victims all across Newfoundland and Labrador. We are here to help, and we see it as our duty to provide free legal information to the public. We want you to be more informed about your rights. We want you to know what to do. If you need help from us, no problem. So we're here to answer your questions, so please ask. It's so important that you take the next steps in your claim with confidence and knowing what your rights are. So reach out today with your questions. We'll get you answers that you need. Thank you so much for watching this video.